Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing something really special. This is going to be a chocolate pecan pie, and this recipe has actually been in my family for a while. It's like older than me, and it was one that we always made every year for Thanksgiving, and it's definitely a family favorite. It's delicious. But around about 4 years ago, I think now, my mom and my sister and me, we all switched from eating sugar to kind of eating more of like the paleo keto type style. I decided Thanksgiving was coming by and I wanted to make that pie but make it healthy for us to enjoy. So I just kind of looked at the recipe and switched out the ingredients for healthier ones. And then I remember I got on my Pinterest and I looked for a pie recipe that I had pinned, and I just grabbed the crust off of that one. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll do the crust first. I'll link the recipe for the pie. I've actually never made it before, so if you try it, let me know if it's good. So it's 2 cups of almond flour, which I already have measured out. I did that with all of them just to save some time with editing later on. And then 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar. This is definitely a paleo pie. If you're keto, you wouldn't be able to eat this. And I have tried this with the monk fruit, but even grinding it, it's still the texture of the pie when it comes out. It's like grainy and it's not very good. I mean, it's still good, but it's just not the same. So yeah, I would definitely say make it paleo rather than keto. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just adding this to my little Vitamix here. And I'm just gonna pulse the dry stuff real quick just to get it mixed a bit before we add in our liquids. Okay. I already melted the coconut oil in the microwave, but it's just 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon. I can't really show you where it'll come out, but that's gonna go in there. Oh, and I forgot my spatula. This one's my favorite. I always have like a favorite whisk and a favorite spatula. I don't know if anyone else is like that. And then 1 egg is going in. And we're just going to mix that, and then a little dough ball will form, which you will see. It's all crumbly. I love that so much. As you can see, it just creates a little ball in there. It is like the most simple pie crust ever. So I'm gonna move this stuff aside and then we'll press it into our pie plate. So I believe this pie plate is like an 8-inch one. I can't see, but I'll definitely put it up on the screen and it'll be in the recipe below. But I already greased it really well, and then I put a parchment paper at the bottom. That's really important or it will stick. I made this last week and I did not grease this little top lip here, and that's where we like pinch the pie crust, so that part stuck really bad. So make sure you're greasing all of that. So you can really do 2 things here with the crust. You can either roll it out like between 2 pieces of parchment paper and then use a rolling pin, or you can just kind of flatten it here in the disc and then press it down. That's what I usually like to do, so I'm gonna do that. And just kind of evenly press it up and do the sides. So, and I did wash my hands before doing this, if anyone was worried. Okay, so once my cuckoo clock's getting off. Luckily it's just 1 o'clock. Okay, it's done. As you can see, pulled it up really far over on the lip. And then this is the fun part where it makes it so pretty, is to just kind of pinch the sides together and it just gives that pretty little design. So there is the finished little crust there, and we're just gonna set this aside and then we'll work on our filling. Okay, so we are all set up now, and the first thing we're going to do is add our melted ghee to the bowl. That's one thing I switched out, is we're all lactose intolerant, so we don't really cook with butter anymore. If you're not, obviously just use a good quality butter. We're just gonna use 1/4 cup of my melted ghee. Forgot my spatula again. And stuck in my shot. There we go. And then 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I usually go a little bit generous on there because I love cocoa. Normally this pie, it calls for 1.5 cups of sugar, and then I just substitute with coconut sugar, which honestly gives it such a good flavor because I feel like coconut sugar is like brown sugar a lot. It has that kind of like caramel flavor. And then we're just gonna mix all of that together real quick with the beaters, just on low. You can use a spoon. So then right now it's just gonna look a little bit crumbly, almost like if it was Oreo crumbs, like if you ground them up. This recipe too, my sweet grandma, she wrote this down for my mom like a long time ago, but she's dyslexic like me, so the way it's written, it's very hard to read. I love you, Grandma. You've definitely gotten better at writing down recipes, but I think this was one of your first attempts, and she watches my videos, so I'm sorry for talking bad about that. I appreciate the recipe. Let's see. We're gonna add both of our eggs, and this is kind of the fun part. It used to be such an arm workout for me. I would get so tired, but you're going to beat this on low for 3 minutes. I remember that used to be such a chore for me to just have this for 3. I would get so tired and switch it back. Funny how things have changed. I'm gonna go ahead and then set the timer on my little oven here. 3 minutes. Let me get it all ready and begin. There we go. This just gets it nice and fluffy and airy. 2 minutes left. Almost there. 15 seconds. Wow, this looks so good. I'll show you what it looks like after you whip it. It kind of just looks like a chocolate mousse or something. Okay, so let's see. Next, it says it calls for a little 5.5 ounce pet milk. Honestly, I'm not even sure what pet milk is. Is that like the brand of a milk or a type? I'm guessing it comes in one of those little cans. But I measured that out, and it's basically 2/3 cup, so that's just what I use. And I use coconut cream. You can use coconut milk if you want. I just feel like coconut cream's a little bit creamier, so it'll be thicker. So, but either work. I've made it with both. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. And then another funny thing on the recipe is it calls for an 8 teaspoons of salt. But in the recipe itself, it never tells you when to put it in. So most of the time I forget about it, but I remember today, so I guess it's optional because it tastes fine without it. I mean, it's only an 1/8 teaspoon. And then just kind of lightly whisk that in. And then the star of the show, 3/4 cup of chopped pecans. Really went overboard there. And I just bought them already chopped. I had gone to the store to specifically get pecans for this pie, so not sure why I'm mentioning that, but it was just a lot easier because I don't have to chop them. I don't know if you're lazy, but I'm pretty chopped. And then sometimes I just kind of like to just jiggle it there just to make sure it gets real flat. So another thing about this pie, because of the crust, I guess the healthy crust, when you bake it, if you leave it uncovered, it's gonna turn black before the inside's cooked. So I like to just grab some foil and then put that over the top just to kind of protect the crust there. The recipe says to bake it in the oven for 45 minutes. I did that last time I made it, which was, it's Friday, and I made it last Saturday, so almost a week ago. I lost my train of thought. I made it a while back and I did 45 minutes in it. It was a little bit, still a little loose in the center. It was still good, but if you want those like nice pie pieces, this time I'm gonna try 50 minutes and then we'll see. So I'm just gonna put this foil on top, just kind of lightly putting it on top, because if it does touch the pie, it will kind of take off the chocolate, so I'm not really gonna press it down on the sides, but just kind of drape it over. Go ahead and put that in for 50 minutes, and then we will check it together and see if that time was good. Okay, so I just wanted to show what the pie will kind of look like when it comes out. So it does kind of puff up on the top, and then There is a tiny bit of jiggle in the center, but if you touch it, it feels like a little bit firm. Kind of like squishes and bounces back up. So I ended up, I don't know if I said this or not, but I ended up keeping it for 5 minutes, and for the last 5 minutes, I took the foil off of the top. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out so the crust won't burn. Okay, so there's how it looks. And I'm just gonna sit this here for several hours to cool. I am taking this to a potluck tonight that I'm going to. It's 2:15 right now, so hopefully it'll be cooled down by the time I have to leave. I'll probably wanna start cutting it open at 4 so I can get pictures and things. But yeah, just leave it out to cool completely before cutting into it. Okay, so it's been about, I'd say, 2.5 hours. And for the last about 20-25 minutes, I stuck it in the fridge to help it cool a little bit faster since I do have to take this with me. So we're gonna go ahead and cut into this. Oh, I'm scared. I hope this does not get stuck on there. So I'm just gonna use a little bowl to kind of clean that off so I can get better cuts there. Okay, so I had a hard time with the crust. I think I didn't realize it, but whenever I had mushed it up, I mushed it like over and like under the dish, and I didn't realize that, so it's just kind of stuck. So unfortunately, I'm so upset. The crust is kind of crumbling off. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you what the inside looks on there. It's very gooey, but yeah, that's like RIP to my crust. So yeah, just be careful, I guess, when you're doing that. But at least the way it looks does not affect its taste. So that's what the little pie looks like. I hope you guys try this out for Thanksgiving maybe. That's when we always make our pie. Let me know what is your favorite like Thanksgiving food that you like to eat, or what your family kind of has for their tradition that you make every single year. This is definitely one of them that we always have, is our chocolate pecan pie. So yeah, let me know if you made it, and if you liked it, go ahead and give this a thumbs up if you're excited to make it, and then subscribe so you can see next week's video. Alright, goodbye.